Yeah, exactly. I had to dig in the archives a little bit because I was sitting here thinking like how many matches we've had. And I was thinking we've only had one tag match. We've had a lot of tag matches in the years that we've known each other, from Master of the Ring out in Wilmington to USIWF right here in Thomasville. And you and Jimmy were those two guys. And you mentioned earlier that a lot of people looked at you as an asshole. And I want to say it was probably because they deserved an asshole at that moment. Because ever since I've known you, like if every match we've had and every time we've been in the locker room, there's always been, hey man, keep doing your thing. You know, you're doing good. Do this different, do this better. You know, it's never been like you came up like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? And who the hell bring these in green guys? And it was always, you're uplifting. And I feel like anyone that's ever felt like you were an asshole deserved an asshole at that moment. So I want to give you the flowers on that aspect, because I've never seen what you are portraying, what people say that you portrayed in that time. Like I've never seen it. You've never seen you go off the hinges unless someone actually deserved it. You know what I'm saying?
I try to make sure that it's an earned thing when I go off on somebody. However, I've been diagnosed with a mental instability called intermittent explosive disorder, and I found that
I'm
out.
sorry, you broke up a little bit. Can you say that again?
I said I was diagnosed with something called intermittent explosive disorder,
Okay.
and essentially what it is, it makes it really hard to control your emotions at times, and you like flip out over the smallest shit. And I noticed it because I see some of that in my son, and I started going to a therapist because I see a lot of me in him. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to make sure, like, see what we're dealing with, and I'm dealing with a lot of stuff too. There was a time I had, and this was while I was out of the business. Right, there was a big mental breakdown. It wasn't great. Like COVID started, lost my job, a lot of personal issues were going on. So like, it was a rough time. Anyway, so I started going to a therapist, and I'm trying to figure out why I can't keep my cool in any situation. Like, obviously, stress pushes you over the edge, but there's something else that, like, my entire life, I've always been on a thin line with a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just snap in a fucking heartbeat ever since I was a kid. So I had to figure out what was going on. And that's where we came out to. So I started taking the stuff called venlafaxine. Obviously, I'm not doing that anymore because the great American health system changed my ability to go to that doctor anymore. And then it took me out of a place where I could get that medicine for like 2 years, which is great. Like, it just priced me out of the entire market. And that's awesome to do with a guy that needs it, you know. So that's another reason why I started smoking, because it controls that. And I don't have outbursts like that, which is amazing, you know. But like, anyway, so yeah, there are a lot of guys that probably out there deserved a lot of the shit that I gave them throughout their careers. There's a lot of guys that did. And I've tried to talk to a lot of those people, as many of them as I could still care to talk to, and tell them that, you know, like, sure, the situation was something that probably I was right to say to you, but the way I said it to you was wrong, and I apologize. Because I don't think I was. I think the biggest difference, man, and again, I'm sorry I talk so much, but I feel like that's why you have me here. But like, I think the biggest difference was, before I got out of the business, I was trying to beat it in people's heads. Like, this is the business. What the fuck are you doing? Like, you guys are screwing this up. And I was that veteran. And that's when I was like, no, I need to leave, because I'm not helping people. And I don't belong in this locker room right now. Like, I literally was sitting in a locker room one day down in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I had to wrestle Ethan Case. I was super excited to wrestle him. And first time, never, I haven't had another chance since. And I feel like I shit the bed in the match, and I was pissed about it. But anyway, I'm sitting in the locker room before our match, and I was like, man, I just don't belong here right now. Like, I did. Everybody was super nice to me and everything else. It's not like anybody made me feel out of place, but I felt out of place. You know, old guy.